Hello and welcome to Wake and Jake. We're live on the tube. And by the way, 9.92K subscribers. Let's hit 10K by next episode. The reason we're live, sports are hot in the streets. Tell me if you heard it before. MLB is at the 1 month mark. Our Yankees are a hot topic for all the wrong reasons. The Warriors, Steph Curry just put a 50 burger up on Sacto to end their season. We're getting Golden State and the Lakers, Curry, LeBron. Like, have you thought about that yet? We got Game 7s in hockey going on right now. Boston's down 2-0 as we record this. We're going to do baseball. You people love baseball. Thank you for putting up with the football draft content because I love it and I love sports and I love you guys. And at this 1 month mark of the baseball season, it's interesting. I was laughing. I forget. I think we were 16 games in and we did the math that's 10% of the season, which just feels weird in so many different ways to measure it. Like if you go 6-10, that's 1/10 of your season. I don't know. It just like rubs you the wrong. It doesn't feel right.
That feels like a bigger percentage than you'd think.
Right? You'd think it'd be like 6% of your... Yeah. Anyways, we're getting into fake numbers.
Is 10% just not a lot?
Baseball, I think, gets measured in months and first half, second half. And we are 1 month in, and there's a lot of things that aren't surprising. And it's where baseball is a fantastic sport because there's a ton of surprises. And I think there's three buckets. It's like check the box good. You've almost earned yourself. Okay, let's view it as like Survivor, a reality show. Like a couple teams have won themselves amnesty, basically. Mm-hmm. The Atlanta Braves put up an 18-9. Yep. They were 11-2 on the road.
Looks like Bruins on the board, by the way.
Tweeted it, 2-goal lead. The Braves are going in a way it feels like they haven't even gone. They're fine. They're a delicious program. The Dodgers end up in the bucket, and I'll tell you why. They're in first. And it seemed like they had an awful month. People have been out on paternity leave. They've had guys not perform. It felt like the Dodgers were having an awful month. They end the first month of the baseball season in first place. So for that, they've gotten an amnesty. The Rays, 23-6. I know everyone doesn't like when I mention that some of the teams were bad because this is incredible, and I get it. They've earned an amnesty. Like, they've earned two almost. They could have a 500 month and a 12-16 month, and they'd be fine. It will not affect their season, basically. I'm not going to put the Rangers in the amnesty bucket because I'm scared of the Astros and the Angels. I'm happy for their hot start. The Twins, I'm happy for them. The AL Central scares me. The Guardians have been bad. They almost kind of need a little more discredit than they've been getting, 13-15. Twins are the only team above 500 in that division.
It's a good start.
The Twins, if you're a Twins fan, you should be ecstatic. You're in first place. You weren't, you made moves, you made tweaks, you traded away a guy that is a fan favorite, won the batting title, and you got a piece back, which is always horrifying. So many GMs are afraid to do that. And by the way, Luis Arias, go look at the numbers. I saw my girl Kelsey Wingert tweet it. Yeah, he's over 400 in a big way. Like, go break records.
by a wide margin.
By a lot. He's insane.
Can I do another Twins shout-out thing? That's
another Twins shout-out.
Little off-season-y, but
sure.
like just that Correa deal's crazy team-friendly. Even if it keeps vesting, he should still be good if it's vesting and he's getting the plate appearance lines. Those salaries in the last years that are like, he makes $10 million in the last year of that if it hits.
And it's not gonna
very good deal.
every doctor thinks his leg's going to fall off or whatever. And B, I think at a certain point you would just get hurt anyways, that if he does become a lesser player, the Twins can move on. The whole thing was bizarre. Like, it's a future Jolly Olive video. I'm adding another bucket. And I actually debated doing another tier list because the Jolly tier list did so good. But we can't just start cranking tier list. Teams that did really well that have expectations that we haven't been talking about yet for other reasons. So, A, that would have been way too long for a tier list. To fit that in one of the squares would have been ugly. The Toronto Blue Jays, 18-10. That's a fantastic month.
It's true.
The Rays had put together one of the best months in baseball history. The Orioles are a game up on them. And I've been screaming about the Orioles. I don't even know where to talk about them. There's another bucket. But the Blue Jays, like, BBD, you're in on, talking baseball, talking Yanks here. We haven't talked about the Blue Jays.
Not really.
For 18-10?
They're the team that beat the Rays first.
That's a better month than the Twins. That's a better month than the Rangers. That's just as good as the Braves. It's better than any NL West team. Like Toronto, we've been tough on them for a while.
Been saying they've got to do it.
They came out of the gate with a fantastic month. They deserve more credit. Another team that I want to put in the bucket with them, and it is funny that 1 week at this point still changes your whole outlook. If you have a 6-in-1 week and say you are the Philadelphia Phillies, who, by the way, have been playing pretty good baseball recently. If Philly goes on this week, has a 6-in-1 week, they would be 21-14. They'd be off to a very good start. If they do the opposite, they'd be below 500 and having a bad time. So we're still in that wiggle area, but we're at the 1 month poll. The other team that we were talking about, and then we stopped, and I almost want to yell at us on last week's Talking Baseball, the Milwaukee Brewers. The Milwaukee Brewers are also 18-10. The Brewers, their expectations kind of came down. We still thought they'd be fighting for a wild card, or they could be good, depending what the Cardinals did. They could be in play for the division. We'll get there. We gave the Cubs a lot of love last Talking Baseball because it looked like their program was working. They just got swept by the Marlins. Again, that changes the numbers a little bit. After they had just won series against the Padres. There was a Dodgers one back there, but they end up around 500, which, again, if you're a Cubs fan,
they'd have signed up for that.
For the first month, they would have. They may lie to you and say not, and it sucks to go in with a sweep to the 16-13 Marlins, that's another bucket. So I'm done with those buckets. Those are two teams that you haven't heard a lot about that you should. 18-10 is a tremendous start. This next bucket is the bucket we don't know what to do with. It is those Marlins who are 16-13. My Diamondbacks are 16-13. Talk around to your baseball friends. Who's actually buying snake stock? Just be honest with me. The Dodgers are also 16-13, tied for first. The Padres, the game's in Mexico. The over-under was 20.
Sheesh.
For the second game because they're playing on the moon, basically. Weird sport. Padres, they end up at 15-14 to end the month. That's massive for them. I really believe that. If the Padres ended up under 500, I do think there would be an article tomorrow that would be
what's wrong?
What's wrong with the Padres? So them winning a couple baseball games on the moon, I think, is going to be sneaky massive for the media pressure on the Padres. Rockies, you knew the story. Giants, you didn't, but you did.
I think, were they 11-15, 11-16, something like that? I think that's what we all would have guessed.
The upstart teams that people are starting to buy into, the Orioles. I don't know if I was behind the curve. I'm trying to get ahead of the curve. They've got the new guy in their bullpen who doesn't give up hits, Yenier Cano. He's 29 years old. He was a throw-in in the Jorge Lopez trade. The Orioles organization, I think they know what they're doing. And they have a ton of talent. And if you read Jeff Passan's tweet today, guest on this show before.
He's been here. He
said the Orioles are getting really good at increasing at the margins. The guy who's running the show over in Baltimore is a guy that came over from Houston. And what do? Increase on the margins. The Orioles and the Pirates. I think the Pirates, everyone's a little more nervous about. They're 20-9. I guess, okay, BBD, if we did an anonymous poll around the office, and maybe we should do stuff like this. There's a lot of baseball fans.
A lot of people informed enough to do a poll, make an educated vote.
If we did an honest poll, money on it, Pirates to make the playoffs, what do you think the results would be at?
I think
50%? 33%?
It's
think not above 50.
I think more than half would say they do not.
I'd be interested. We might have to do that. Because, again, the Pirates have been fun, and it's been a good month, and they've got the juice. I don't know. I guess I'm not fully bought in. There's some nice things going on in Pittsburgh. It feels better. I was the guy patting myself on the back saying coming into the season, they could be this year's Orioles. They've gotten off to an incredible start.
It seems like good things are happening.
I talked about amnesty before. They have one. 20-9. That's
real.
insane. I think they would use up one of their amnesties. I don't know if it's next month. I don't know if it's 2 months. And maybe I'm wrong. But I think everyone thinks that Pirates floor can come out a little bit. I wonder what their over-under is. And I would have to go check that out at DraftKings. DraftKings Sportsbook, $5 bet gets you $150 in bonus bets instantly. They've got their same-game parlays. You know I crank one out every week. Hello. I think we're going to win this week. Join in the big league action now in DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the app and sign up with code BAKERS. That's right, people. Here, BAKERS. New customers can bet just $5 and get $150 in bonus bets instantly. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook with promo code BAKERS.
Thanks, DraftKings.
So as we're checking off other buckets, Cubs, they got mentioned briefly. They're in a fine bucket. I think there's a couple teams that wouldn't want to be lumped with them. The Angels and Cubs are like peas and carrots right now. They have winning records technically. They've got a new... I don't think the Angels necessarily have a new vibe to their team. I think the Cubs do. But again, I said it on Talking Baseball. The Angels could not shit the bed in April. Because where is Ohtani going would be the number one headline every week. Every week.
If them and the Mariners were switched, not, I think 3-game swing.
Right?
That is what we'd be talking about.
1,000%. They're not going to jump 4 teams. This franchise has been horrible. The Angels survived. How much would White Sox fans wish they were in this bucket? How much would White Sox fans wish they were in the We Survived April golf clap bucket? You know who else is in the bucket? The Boston Red Sox. 15-14. The division looks really good.
We knew everyone had them as the last place team in this division coming in, but yes, we all knew they'd be the best of the last place.
They shook it up. No one for them is having like a magical start. Is that a weird way to phrase it? Like Devers has been really good, but he's Devers. I guess Kenley kind of fully.
Yeah, I guess Rafi's numbers aren't they aren't like stupid.
Like you're not looking at the Red Sox and saying, Justin Turner's got a 1.2. Without him, where would they be? Like, Yoshida started to go. Turner's been fine. Verdugo has been good. Devers has been great.
Both of their center fielders in small doses have been really good, but that's the closest we get to like out of this world performances on the team.
They survived April, which there was a chance that they could not. So
I had to eat a little crow on it, and I'm throwing it back out when obviously the Rays have been like the team of April, but I had Red Sox as a team that like could beat our expectations. People took that as would be in first place. Never what that was supposed to be.
Right.
But picked them as they could have a surprisingly good April.
Little twist there.
Don't think it's been for the reasons I said, but.
So Twins shouldn't be in the Survivor. I'm over them. Guardians, yes and no. I guess you're 2 games away, and you guys have been good.
They shouldn't be. They're not dead or anything.
Can I say the one thing that's been freaking me out about Cleveland? Some of the guys they've been pitching doesn't feel like the successful Cleveland teams. Like right now, Logan Allen, I mean, I know he's a big prospect, and maybe he clicks. I think Bibby's kind of the same, but it's just they're new.
They weren't supposed to be like the formula this year, I don't believe.
Battenfield had been getting a lot of starts for them. He wasn't as big of a prospect. I don't know. I know McKenzie's been out, and that stinks. Savali's been out. You survived April. You're not excited. You guys kind of know this.
Getting pitching performances.
That
they're Cleveland. That's what they do.
I'm not worried about Cleveland.
They're fine.
Tigers 10-17. You didn't really survive April. White Sox, you definitely didn't survive April.
Opposite.
Royals, same, man. Oakland, yeah. Nats 10-17 with that division. Rockies, Giants. I haven't mentioned the Reds, and you never do. They're 12-16. They've been playing okay. It's just
kind of story of last year too. They play a little better than like you expect from them.
I guess for them, like instead of are we trading Luis Castillo, it's like how good are Lodolo, Hunter Green, some of our other guys.
Yeah, figure out which guy they've started locking some of them up, so it's figuring out
passing some vibe checks.
These guys are
Phillies. You survived April 15-13. You guys were under 500 for a little bit. They opened with like a 12-game road trip. So their April's almost a win, I think.
Like a bunch of games against not NL teams and on the road. It was weird.
Mets, you're fine. The 2 biggest ones, Mariners and Cardinals. The Mariners are 12-16, which full scope isn't scary, right? Like that 6-1 thing I said, they have a good week. They're above 500. We're good, Get going. They got off to a little bit of a slower start last year, if I remember correctly. The Angels were on top. Julio kind of hadn't gotten going yet. I think one thing that's important to note for them, because it's not bad, and this could all go away with a couple good weeks. They're hosting the All-Star game. This was supposed to be a big year in Seattle. I said things like they may be the second best team in the AL to Houston. Houston survived April. But that's all they have to do because they've proven they get to the CS every year. If you're Seattle, you just can't let it get loud. Like, I think you can't even get as loud as St. Louis is right now. Because you're hosting the All-Star game, and this was supposed to be a big year for you, and you're a franchise that is not directly correlated to big winning years. If you're Seattle, you got to go soon. It's a long season, right? They've got 3 at Oakland, and then they've got a homestand versus Houston and Texas, which, by the way, that ain't easy, man. Houston, we know who they are. You know who they are. They got off to a slow start. They survived April. The Texas Rangers are 17-11, and I'll tell you this. They bang. They just lost to Grom. Stinks, but also kind of expected, right? If you're being honest.
You pencil that in a little bit.
The guys they got, Simeon, you know him. He's really good. Corey Seager's been out. Nathaniel Lowe, you kind of need to know. He's been good. Adolis Garcia, you may know. If you don't, remind yourself.
Knowing.
Josh Young, I think, has a chance to be a guy. Jonah Heim has a chance to be a guy for them. And that starts to give you a really filled out lineup with a totally purchased rotation, even without DeGrom. And by the way, their bullpen's been fine. So that AL West, what are the Angels going to do? Are they going to hang around? Can Shohei and Trout do enough to keep them in it with some of their, retooled pitchers and other guys, Brandon Drury?
A couple young guys can step up.
They changed the mix a little bit, right? Like, what does that mean for the Angels? And again, this is a team that wants to fend off trading Ohtani so bad. How much would they love to add at the deadline? If they could, they would. I know you might not like that because you want Ohtani wearing your jersey.
And the rumors would be a blast.
Think about when teams set goals for the year and it's like, all right, we want to win the division. We want to win the American League. We want to win the World Series. And then, talk about Jeter makes his goals, checks his boxes, whatever. The Angels have a goal of hitting the trade deadline and not having to trade away Shohei Ohtani. And if they could add instead of subtract, that would be the biggest Angels win since, Rally Monkey times. I'm not saying they're going to do it. I told myself, don't believe in the Angels because they will break you. They survived April. Mariners. If you play Houston and Texas, this weekend and next week, and they come in and they give you the business, it's red flag time. Trevor Plouffe's going to have to announce you a dead again. And if that's what you're waiting for, slip me some money. I can make him do that. I can talk him into that pretty quickly. The St. Louis Cardinals on the other side, 10-19. 10-19. The Nationals are 10-17. I had a Nationals fan get mad at me in the comments the other day.
Really?
Because I was like, the Nats are the Nats. And, it's like, man, we just went 4-6 on our road trip. Josiah Gray and Mackenzie Gore look good.
I love both those guys.
And I was like, hell yeah, man. But
it's good that the guys that are supposed to be there a while
enjoy it.
Are doing well.
Enjoy it. But if we start celebrating 4-6 road trips,
yeah. I'd love to celebrate my Instagram friend Josiah Gray, but
nice guy, JoJo. The St. Louis Cardinals. You used up your amnesty, and you might have used a future one if you win it. That's so bad, man. And this was a team almost panic mode, and I'm mad at myself a little bit. Right before the season started, I said that this team, I think, had a chance to be really special because they seemingly have incredible depth. Cardinals fans will tell you their starting pitching hasn't been there. They've been 20th in starting pitching ERA, 27th in whip, 28th in hits allowed, 22nd in homers allowed. Yeah. Cardinals, sneaky, their formula is get enough pitching. Wainwright style, I'll call it. That's the favorite sex position in St. Louis. Jordan Montgomery has started to go for them. Hopefully that's big. Flaherty was a mixed bag. Hopefully he can go. Michaelis, and I think Waino is working his way back after pitching in the WBC. So Matt's had been very bad. Hopefully there's something there. Their bullpen felt like it needed to be reset. Every time I clicked their box, it felt like they've been using a lot of guys, and that's probably your connect the dot from the starting pitcher, and I think a couple untimely blown saves and losses. Like in the past week, I see that Jordan Hicks has a loss. I see that Ryan Helsley has a loss. That's not great, Bob. I do see that Helsley and Gallegos haven't pitched a lot recently. I think partially because they've been losing. I don't know. Maybe BBD, and maybe this segues to our Yankees a little bit, that need major league bodies. Right now on the bench, the listed bench for the Cardinals, Paul DeYoung, who they called up and was their starting shortstop for a while. Tyler O'Neill listed on their bench.
Mm-hmm.
And they sent down Jordan Walker.
They did. Even without him, they have to sit a guy who we would consider a guy.
It'd be cool if the Yankees had a pitcher to trade to them for an outfielder.
Feels like they could link up again somehow.
Because Goldie has gone. Nolan Gorman, who
Fully
had been
broken out.
who was kind of on the bench to start the year, he's now going for them. Arenado and Wilson will go. It's the first month boogie. Tommy Edman.
You believe in them.
I mean, I think what I'm stumbling into, and maybe it's not the Yankees, right? And they're just on my mind, and they need a shake. The Cardinals need a shake, right? And I don't know everything that went on with Oli Marmol, but they basically had an uprising for him to take the job, right? Remember, who was their manager? The Dwight Schrute? Schilt. Dwight Schrute. Schilt. Schilt was kind of regarded as a good manager. We didn't have nobody had big qualms with Mike Schilt.
Did he, his first full year, catch a manager of the year there?
Could have snuck one in.
I'll look into it.
Tyler O'Neill and Marmol, they have, so the team basically says, we want Marmol. He gets the job, it works out. You find yourself in a very intriguing position when you put together an April like that. And now he's got the beef with Tyler O'Neill. Early season trades don't happen a lot. If you're the Cardinals, who just sent down Jordan Walker, didn't mention him in their outfield depth with Tyler.
2019 Manager of the Year, Mike Schilt.
Things change quickly, huh? Tyler O'Neill's on your bench. He's a guy that got MVP votes one year. He's a guy that you benched earlier in the season. I don't know where Marmol stands with anyone. There's still leadership in there. When we were talking about Yadi Molina, Waino's coming back. Paul Goldschmidt's there. Nolan Arenado's there. St. Louis is fine. Jack Flaherty's a veteran at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Jack Flaherty's been in a lot of MLB locker rooms for years. I don't...
5 years of service. Yep.
Contreras. I mean, this is a team with dudes. I think a gentle shake goes a long way. And maybe it's your team. I guess tell me, if you're a fan of another team, what the trade would be. But my God, if Tyler O'Neill ended up on the Yankees tomorrow, how excited would we be?
Pretty stoked. Something new.
Something new, something hopeful. Someone who could be in that 5 to 9 spot in the lineup and cause damage.
It would be an actual... be the actual change that Jimmy talks about. They don't have the thing that changes a postseason formula. That would do that.
I mean, I don't know what the Cardinals would be asking for. I don't know what the Yankees have to give.
Yankees might not have what they want.
Takes two sides to make a trade. Maybe your team
Sometimes
does have it. But yeah, I guess that's what's weird with me for the Cardinals. It feels... I wanted to land on the Yankees. I probably should have started earlier. You people like the Yankees. We like the Yankees. Some of you hate the Yankees, but you listen. The Yankees don't have the puzzle pieces right now. The Yankees' puzzle is shot. The Yankees right now need to win every Cole and Nestor start. And then you hope to win one of the three. You hope Herman or Brito or Clark, in their turn, gives you a good start. And that's how you win 3 out of 5 games. That is such a tightrope to walk.
For any sort of extended stretch.
And the reason why, and if anyone listened to Talking Yanks in this, I thank you. I was not as tough on the starting pitching as Jimmy was. The reason why is the offense gives them no shot. I think if Clark, Brito, and Herman knew that the offense could give them 5, or hey, 1 second inning, they come out and there's a 5 on the board. We actually saw Domingo do this. In the Twins game, they put up a big run. Domingo pitched really well. They wanted more innings. He got rocked a little bit, but they got like an extra inning out of him. The Cardinals still have all their puzzle pieces, which has to be equal parts scary, right?
It's got to feel, that's Avarex.
Yankee fans, we have an excuse right now. A lot of guys are hurt. Judge, Stanton, Bader, Severino, Rodon. As those guys trickle back, if the Yankees start to win more, we have our guys back. If you're the Cardinals, your guys have kind of been there. Waino's been missing.
The lineup's been whole.
And they're 6th in average, 4th in on-base percentage. 11th in OPS, middle of the pack homers and steals. The runs aren't there.
Need a little more pop, but yeah.
The Cardinals formula doesn't fully make sense to me. Because the puzzle pieces are there. Some of the stats are there. I still think it's going to come together. It's how much of a hole have you digged? And how big can your big month be? Like, can they just put up a 19-10 and now you're back to 500 and it's kind of like game on? I don't know. That's hard to do. But
Got to do it.
Also, the Pittsburgh Pirates just went 20-9. So, I don't know. I guess Yankees and Cardinals fans, maybe we should bond. You guys have your guys. It doesn't click, but it feels like it could probably click tomorrow, right? Like with a couple good starts and a couple, 7 runs games, you'd probably be like, all right, the birds are back. Let's put April in our rear view. The Yankees is really tricky because they need something to happen. They need Oswald Peraza to have 2 incredible weeks. They need one of the catchers to have a great 2-week stretch. They can. It's not what they're known for.
It isn't even like the game plan, but just you need a hot streak from somebody.
The Yankees need things they're reaching for. They needed Jake Bauers to have a good month. He got hurt in his first inning of action.
Tough.
They would kill for a Tyler O'Neill. I don't know if they have the parts for that. So I guess at this 1 month notice, I put some teams into buckets. Cardinals. Have you dug too big of a hole? They got Halos, Tigers, Cubs, Red Sox. You'd like to see a couple more?
You'd love a gimme in there.
You'd love... And maybe that's the thing, Beebs, that we said that with the Yanks. And I don't know. We might have to get Dalton on this, and I'm not even sure how to do it. It doesn't feel like there's as many walkovers this year. I don't know. Like, who currently feels like a walkover? The Rockies.
A's.
Rockies, A's. The Giants, kind of.
That feels a little harsh.
How about this?
The teams you go in and you're like, if you don't win, you're
teams
pissed.
That come to town, they are different tiers. Teams that come to town and you expect to win the series. I do think the Giants are on that list.
Yeah.
I do think the Giants are on that list.
There's a list of teams that, like, it doesn't even, like, make you feel good if you sweep them.
I think Giants, Rockies, in the Central, because the Pirates have done what they've done, the Reds qualify. If you play the Reds,
I know they do outperform that a little bit so far, but yes, when
you
they
play
come
the
to town,
Reds, you
that's what
expect to
think.
win that series. The Nationals, so that would be Nats, Reds, Giants, Rockies. The Marlins have never yet always been on that list. They're 16-13.
We know they've got they have potentially the best pitcher in the world.
They have been just as good as the Mets. They have been better than the Cubs. They have been as good as the Dodgers and the Snakes. You can't put the Marlins in a we're going to win this series bucket. No way, Pop.
In a sense, you always couldn't because they have guys who come in and just pitch and win a game by themselves sometimes. But definitely, right now they are outperforming.
An enigmatic franchise. Is that how you phrase that?
Those are Sandy's stats this year.
Yeah, Sandy hasn't been great even. The AL East has 0 teams.
Yeah.
The AL Central has 3 teams.
Yeah, well,
Tigers, White Sox, Royals. So
at this point, White Sox are on that list.
So that changes it. And then the Athletics. So there's 9 teams that you play, and you're like, we need to win this series. We are the better team. Doesn't matter what pitchers are lined up. I wonder how that compares to past years.
That feels like a fine.
And it feels like the AL Central threw that whole thing off. But I guess, is that 4 teams in each league? I guess 4 in the AL. So that would be 5 in the NL. Nats, Reds, Giants, Rockies. So I think I miscounted. 1, 2.
Because we were saying not the Marlins. We might have
not the Marlins. I might add them. So it's 4 and 4.
Okay.
So there's currently 4 teams in each league that you'd expect to be a pushover series. I don't know. Is that low?
That feels about right.
I might have Dalton make up some stats on that. Because
if you tightened it to like teams that you'll be mad you didn't sweep them, it's like Nats, Royals, A's, Rocks.
Because that would get rid of the
4.
Giants, kind of the Reds.
Kind of the Reds at this point. You then would look into the season and be like, okay, they're not
down to 6.
Yeah. White Sox are supposed to be talented. I have no idea what to say about them.
I don't White Sox anymore.
Yeah.
I just don't. Let's see where we're at in another month, right? That's the whole great game. One of these teams that we could never guess is going to have a fantastic month. One of these teams that we think is great is going to have a dog shit month. That's baseball Susan, as they say. So excited to tune in together. We'll be doing Talking Baseball tomorrow, if you're listening to that, or today, depending where you're listening. There's so much other good sports that are happening right now.
Sports are awesome right now. You always forget April is sports time. May.
You know what time it is? It's NBA wins time. Steph Curry, we used to do a segment called Bro of the Night on this show. Him, the kids really like him. He is him. Do you know how many shots he took tonight?
I know he finishes with 50.
So think about this. Game 7. Upstart Sacramento Kings team that is very good. De'Aaron Fox is very good. Sabonis
3 seed.
is very good. They're the 3 seed in the West. Harrison Barnes can be a great role player on a good team. Keegan Murray. This guy.
Number 4 pick last year?
Yeah. Herder, my friend, maybe I'll reach out. Maybe I'll go for it. We're friends on Twitter.
He
loves the Yanks.
He listens to Talking Yanks. We know that about him.
Malik Monk kind of fully falling into the role that it always seemed like Malik Monk could fall into. Kind of like the next Lou Will. The Sacramento Kings team is good. In Game 7 in Sacramento, marbles on the line. People saying that this Golden State team is not good as previous Golden State teams. Steph and Clay are kind of getting old. You know how old Steph is?
He's like a sneaky 35.
35.
Sheesh.
35 ain't young. Especially in
NBA.
RJ Barrett's 22. Klay Thompson.
Was so good.
Klay Thompson's had a lot of injuries. He's 33 now. Draymond, he's got a little bit of gray in that beard, huh? He's 33. It's crazy that Steph's older than Draymond in my head.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess.
I know Steph did all 4 years. Draymond too.
You want to know why I like Golden State? I've told you before, they're one of the best teams ever. Just the way they play basketball. Draymond's fit is sports debate for life. Yes, if Draymond Green ended up on the Minnesota Timberwolves, he would not have been an all-time great player. Guess what? He's not on that team. And he fits his role perfectly. And the whole thing is weird. He used to be able to shoot. Now he just can't. Bizarre.
Really weird.
Bizarre. Anyways.
I was what made it the death lineup?
Remember when Andrew Wiggins turned into the best player in the finals last year? What was that about?
Key to winning.
Klay Thompson would probably be regarded as the best three-point shooter of all time if he didn't play next to the best three-point shooter of all time in Steph Curry. And in those two guys, you have two of the most selfless superstars we've ever seen in basketball or any sport, really. Klay is the quiet assassin. Steph is the goofy, I almost want to embarrass you with how good of a teammate I can be. Steph Curry took 38 shots, 20 for 38, 7 of 18 from 3, 50 burger, 6 assists, 1 turnover, 8 rebounds. Klay didn't have it. Klay did not have it. And you saw it in the second quarter. We're watching this game. And I thought it was interesting. They were feeding Klay because I think what they were doing was, Klay, we're going to feed you now to see if you could get it going because we need to find out if you're gonna. And I think he threw up a couple bricks, and I think that led to kind of second half Steph. This is going to be you. And he was. And he was. He puts up 50 on the kids. They also hold Sacramento in a scoring league that some of the scores blow your mind. It's still I think it hurts every basketball fan's soul a little bit when they see a 40-point quarter. They're just that's
just the scaling.
That used to be a chunk of halftime scores. And now we're doing that in a quarter. BBD plus minus is a funky stat, right?
Hard to know exactly what to do with it.
I want to read you Golden State starters plus minuses down the line. Draymond, plus 25. Kevon Looney, an unsung hero of this whole fucking crew.
21 boards.
21 boards, plus 25.
10 offensive boards.
Wiggins, plus 25. Steph, plus 25. Klay, plus 30. So, this Golden State team that I don't think is as good as previous Golden State teams. They don't. Gary Payton, too, comes off the bench and plays defense. Jordan Poole, come see, come saw. Sometimes that dude looks like the most skilled player on the court. Sometimes he looks like a goof. Some of the shot attempts he takes. I mean, they'd kick me off the court at the Y. But I get it. Sometimes it works for him. I've got Moses Moody circled. I don't know as much about him as I'd like. He's 20 years old. He's one of the guys they took in the try to rebuild in our dynasty that, let's be honest, didn't work.
Yeah, technically everything they did for that.
Kuminga's still on the team. He ain't playing.
Wiseman's out.
Wiseman's out.
Detroit.
Moody, I don't know what these could mean nothing. He was crazy efficient in this Golden State series. So I guess if there's any Golden State fans, let me know.
Because he played real minutes.
A couple of the games he didn't, but I think he ended up having 4 games of like 15 minutes, which in an NBA intense playoff series, that's huge. That's massive. He was crazy efficient all series. I think he shot, again, it's very limited shooting, but you're talking like 60% from the field, 50% from 3, which after what I just said about Golden State starters and their plus minuses, as a 20-year-old player, if you can get 15 minutes and get a couple buckets and be a clean, that's the next step that they've been waiting for a player to take. So, with all that being said, fucking Steph Curry. He's like the best superstar ever. Him and Giannis. Well, LeBron deserves some love. And that's where I want to land, because LeBron versus Steph. We're going to get it again. Lakers, Golden State. This is where the NBA wins. This is why I didn't talk about it most of the regular season, because guess what? Did the playoff seeding matter? 8 seed Heat, 7 seed Lakers, 6 seed Golden State. Every numeric seed, one team advanced. 1 through 8. And the playoff matchups are pretty sick, man. I know this isn't your parents' sexy Heat team, but Heat Knicks. NBA will always sign off on that. LeBron and Steph. Are you kidding me? It's a dream. Sixers, Celtics, Philly, Boston.
Yep.
With those teams, they're back. Suns, Nuggets. Suns and 4. Does that count?
Nuggets are the 1 seed. Of course, they're the one that I think NBA would have been okay with getting out. But.
Nuggets are the 1 seed, and they're the team I picked coming into this to win the NBA Finals, because I think they're the best team. The Suns are a super team. Kevin Durant, Chris Paul, the Suns.
Haven't even said Devin Booker yet.
Booker, what a weird stardom for him. I like him. This is where the NBA wins. You can turn on any of these games, and you're seeing stars, you're seeing emotion, you're seeing high-level basketball. And that's what everyone watching the first half of Golden State Sacramento, it's eye-opening. And I'll compare it to college basketball. I'll compare it to NBA regular season. I'll compare it to when subs are on the court in the postseason. The tiers of basketball as you go are insane. And as we get to this level of the postseason, you'll see it. There's dudes that can't be on the court. There's dudes that play 20 minutes a night of NBA basketball that in these playoff games cannot be on the court. They are a liability. And I think it's where the NBA wins in the postseason. These games are going to be incredible. I'm excited to watch. This is all with NHL going on in the background, which is kind of the same, just without superstars.
Yes.
Like, you could turn on any of these hockey games. By the way, Boston, Florida, 2-0. Going to reply to my own tweet right now. You can turn on any of these hockey games, and that's the only difference. You don't know it. You don't know the players like you know the NBA players.
Hockey people do, but
right.
If you're just you like sports in general, like you know some NBA guys. If you just are generally into sports, I don't know all that many hockey guys. Sorry.
We're sorry. We're not sorry.
I'm enjoying this game.
Let's go watch the rest of this game, BBD. Yeah. And I think, I don't want to promise because we got to line up a time, but I think we're getting Foolish. I think we're going to try to do the midweek with Foolish. That episode, Feo, who's in the chat right now and is always in the chat.
Love.
I think we want to do I joked about it, the kind of the buy sell on young players. And Foolish, in a way that only his wit could, he had a really good name for it. Breakout or fake out?
Nice.
James Outman. Josh Young. So we're going to get that on the schedule. For now, if you guys could sub.
We're so close.
Let's get to 10K. We'll celebrate. Maybe we show skin.
You listened this far into this episode. You're enjoying the live stream. Maybe you just didn't even realize you're not subscribed yet. Hit the button. It helps us out. Doesn't cost you anything.
We will see you guys midweek. Probably not live, but we'll see you, and we love you. Go Sports.
We love you so much.